Hello, my name is Ervin Lopez and I am a PharmD candidate at the Texas Tech School of Pharmacy. Today I will be discussing the newly approved and marketed Baqsimi, which as you can see is a newly formulated version of glucagon. During this presentation, I will be focusing on its major benefits in use, specifically in the pediatric population. Now, I'd like to go ahead and start with talking a little bit more about what exactly Baqsimi is. It was actually just recently approved by the FDA during the summer of 2019 as the first version of an inhalable glucagon. As of now, the patenting company is Eli Lilly Pharmaceuticals, who currently packages our product as a single-time use tube that is able to deliver a dose of 3 milligrams of glucagon. In their pre-marketing clinical trials, they were able to justify that 3 milligrams of inhalable glucagon achieved the same efficacy and benefit as 1 milligram of injectable glucagon. As of now, Baqsimi has an FDA indication for treatment of hypoglycemia in patients of at least 4 years of age. Perhaps what will set this product above and beyond in its use is their 3 best features. First, unlike a standard nasal spray, this product does not require any sort of priming, thus reducing the time of administration. Second, unlike the glucagon emergency kit, this product does not require any reconstitution of any sort, which prevents the possibility of underdosing. Lastly, the biggest asset of this product is the lack of need for the patient to inhale during administration of this glucagon formulation. This last point allows the product to be taken without any need of dexterity and to be administered in patients who could be found unresponsive. The administration of Baqsimi is made easy through the 3 steps shown above. As seen, after Baqsimi is taken out of its foil and its packaging, the device is simply held between the fingers. Once the tip of the container is placed inside either of the nostrils, the plunger is pushed firmly all the way until the green line on the side of the container disappears. Given the simpler process, it can be seen why users have a much better administration success with Baqsimi compared to your typical emergency glucagon kit. The use of Baqsimi only requires 1 nostril to be used and can be even taken with patients who are experiencing nasal congestion or allergies. Clinical trial data, which will be discussed soon, was able to show that the effect and benefit of inhalable glucagon was not altered at all by nasal congestion. And in cases of unconsciousness, it is warranted that a second dose of 3 milligrams of inhaled glucagon can be administered if you don't see any sort of response after 15 minutes of the first administration. The pre-marketing trial included 3 different cohorts of pediatric patients, each with a respective age group, which can be seen in the figure below. A total sample size of 48 patients was all that was needed based on the FDA's guidance for pediatric pharmacokinetic studies. With the intent to evaluate efficacy and safety, each child was induced to a hypoglycemia state within a controlled medication setting with insulin boluses to a goal of less than 80 milligrams per deciliter. Once the patient reached such level, glucagon was administered in either the intramuscular version or the inhalable version in either a dose of 2 milligrams or 3 milligrams. As you can see here, those pediatric patients in the inhalable glucagon group from ages 4 to less than 12 were subjected to treatment twice to evaluate the minimum dose efficacy between 2 milligrams and 3 milligrams of inhalable glucagon. In the older pediatric patient group, all 12 patients were treated in a crossover fashion with both intramuscular glucagon and inhalable glucagon in 2 separate clinical visitations. The primary goal of all this was to evaluate the mean time to reach glucose levels above 20 milligrams per deciliter from the initial reading. As seen here, glucose readings were read, mapped in a time-dependent fashion, and evaluated for overall outcome over the first 90 minutes post-treatment. The average starting glucose for all treatment groups ranged between 60 and 79 milligrams per deciliter. As seen in the chart above, 3 milligrams of inhalable glucagon had a similar mean time to reach glucose goal when compared to intramuscular glucagon. In the second cohort group, referred to as children, inhalable glucagon had a mean time to reach goal that was slightly superior to the injected glucagon. Finally, in the last cohort group referred to as adolescents, Inhaled glucagon seemed to take about 2 minutes longer to reach the same goal as injected glucagon. It should be noted that only the 3 mg treatment group is referred to, given that there was one patient in the young children group who took longer than 25 minutes to reach such glucose reading that was higher than 20 mg per deciliter from baseline. As such, it seems that 3 mg of inhaled glucagon was conducted to be the minimum required dose to provide the same efficacy of intramuscular glucagon in a standardized time setting. In the phase 1 clinical trial, inhalable glucagon appeared to have a smaller incidence of nausea and vomiting when compared to injectable glucagon. Incidence of headache and risk for upper respiratory tract infection did increase, but is accounted due to their delivery route. In those children that did have some sort of upper respiratory tract irritation, the most common findings were watery eyes, nasal congestion, and nasal itching. The other symptoms listed above under the figure were also found, but not in large prevalence as the first 3 symptoms listed. Drug interactions. As with any injectable glucagon, the most common drug interactions that were found with Baqsimi are, of course, the vitamin K agonists, including warfarin, where they saw that glucagon may actually enhance the anticoagulative effect of warfarin. When taken concurrently with indomethacin, it may diminish the therapeutic effect of glucagon. When taken concurrently with beta blockers, it was seen that there could be a transient increase in pulse and overall blood pressure. And finally, when Baqsimi and anticholinergics are taken together, there was a slight increased risk of GI effects that were seen during concurrent use. As of now, there are currently 3 reasons for contraindicative use of Baqsimi in any population group. The first is the use of Baqsimi in patients with a pheochromocytoma, which is a tumor in the adrenal gland tissue. The reasoning behind that is that glucagon may stimulate release of catecholamines from the tumor and cause unexpected high elevations in blood pressure. The second contraindication is in patients with an insulinoma, and the reason behind that is that glucagon may initially produce an initial increase in blood sugar, which is desired, but may also indirectly cause a release of an exaggerated amount of insulin secondary to the insulinoma. And third, the last contraindication is for any patient who has some sort of hypersensitivity to glucagon, including anaphylactic reactions. As of now, there is no clinical data supporting the use of glucagon in patients who may exhibit signs or symptoms of decreased hepatic glycogen. In populations that tend to show those types of symptoms are patients who are dealing with starvation, have some sort of adrenal insufficiency, or have dealt with chronic hypoglycemia. As such, the current preferred treatment option for those populations would include glucose. The current retail price of Baqsimi stands at around $337 for a one-time dose single pack. Express Scripts, Caremark, and OptumRx are 3 of the largest pharmacy benefit managers that oversee about 80% of all pharmacy benefits in people with private insurance. As of now, those 3 large pharmacy groups do not list Baqsimi as part of their formulary, meaning that patients who get a prescription for Baqsimi would most likely have to pay either full list price or have a high copay, given that it is a non-formulary product. Here in Texas, Medicaid has actually not added this product to their formulary yet, but pricing or coverage is not fully known at the moment. Lilly Pharmaceuticals currently has a patient assistance program called Got Your Back, which helps reduce those high copays. Now, why does this all matter? I think it goes without saying that a portable emergency glucagon system continues to be a valuable asset in the diabetic population. Incidences of hypoglycemia continue to be a large issue in patients with either type of diabetes, with the most common causes being an irregular food intake, physical overexertion, and miscalculated insulin doses. As seen on the figure on the right, without continuous glucose monitoring, an office visit would only be able to evaluate a patient's overall A1C value, which is a number that alone can have a high variability. And what do I mean by that? What I mean is that a patient with an A1C above the desired goal could be having incidents of hypoglycemia without any clear indicative markers. Now, to summarize everything together, I'd like to bring back the home take points. First being that Baqsimi is the first inhalable glucagon system that is approved by the FDA for hypoglycemic treatment, with current indicative use to be used in children of at least 4 years of age. Baqsimi offers a more user-friendly delivery system for glucagon compared to its counterpart of an injectable emergency glucagon kit. And lastly, Baqsimi is currently not covered by most insurance plans, but the date of approval could be a leading factor. Here below are the references to the presentation, and there is my contact information. Again, my name is Ervin Lopez, and in case you have any questions on Baqsimi or any of the information that I presented today, please feel free to contact me. Thank you.